When you go to bind a new model on your Jumper T16, do you see under Module Status, Firmware Update Recommended? That's what I'm going to show you how to fix today. I'm Joshua Bardwell, and you're going to learn something today. Guys, this is going to be a quick and dirty video. I'm just doing this update real quick before I go out and fly. And my philosophy is always, as long as I'm doing it, I should make a video about it. And a lot of you guys are asking me about this problem because you've updated OpenTX to a new version of OpenTX. And when you do that, it says it wants you to update to the latest version of the firmware for your internal multi-protocol module. It's this guy here. Now, first of all, you do not need to do that. They recommend the update, but everything will probably be fine. I don't think there are any major bug fixes. However, there are new features being put into the multi-protocol module. For example, this frequency fine-tune thing that can help improve your range. Well, I've heard that a future version of this firmware is going to have automatic fine-tuning, just like FreeSky has done forever. That would be a pretty exciting feature if you could get it. And so you want to keep this updated, but you don't absolutely have to. Fortunately, updating it is freaking easy. The first thing we need to do before we can update the multi-protocol module is download the firmware that we need. And typically you would do that by going to the multi-protocol module GitHub page, go to the releases, and download one of these files. And it can be really freaking confusing and overwhelming knowing which one of these files is the right one for your radio. So it is really freaking cool that somebody has made this web page. There is a link to this in the video description. It is the multi-module firmware downloads helper. And what you do is you pick your module, whichever module you have. So we have got the Jumper T16 Pro internal module, and it auto-fills this stuff correctly and just shows us the files we should pick from. And we need to pick one of these files. Now you should pick whichever one of these files matches the channel mapping order that you use in your radio. So here in the radio, I'm just going to hold down the model key and I'm going to page to the mixer screen. And here in the mixer screen, I can see my channel order is A, E, T, R. And that's what I'm going to download. This doesn't actually matter if you are just flying multi-rotors with flight controllers, because the module doesn't need to know the channel order. All that matters is that the radio and the flight controller agree about the channel order. But if you're flying bind and flies, the bind and fly oftentimes does need the channel mapping to be absolutely correct. So you may as well just download the correct firmware and get this to match whatever your typical channel order is. So my channel order is AETR, so I'm going to go ahead and download this file. And here it comes. Now the next thing I need to do is get that onto my radio SD card. So I'm going to plug in my radio. I'm going to select USB storage SD from the pop-up that appears on screen. And when I do that, two new removable drives will appear. Ignore this one with firmware.bin and firmware.txt. Just close that. And this one is my Taranis SD card. And what I need to do is go to the downloads folder, grab that file. I'll just do a cut. And then in my Taranis, I'm going to put that in the firmware folder. It has to go into the firmware folder on your SD card. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to long press the sys key. On some FreeSky radios, this would be the menu key. Whatever, you're going to come to radio setup screen. Then you're going to page to the SD card. Go down to the firmware folder and find that file on the SD card. Long press and flash internal is what you want. Now it will flash. Worth keeping in mind that if you have one of the very early internal multi-protocol modules, it does not have a bootloader on it, and you have to flash it one time using an actual external programmer. I have a video about how to do that, and the firmware version, it's like 12048 or something. If you are earlier than that firmware version, then this will not work. If this fails, there's a link in the video description to a video that shows you the more complicated and annoying process you need to go through. But the good news is you only have to do that once. See how easy that was? That's it. Just put the file on the SD card, flash the file, boom, it's updated, it's done. It's amazing. It's super easy. And then you will no longer see, boop, module status, update recommended. That's it. That's the video. Now you know. Thanks for watching. Happy flying.